Hello and welcome to Straight Dude Date Night, a show where two straight dudes go on a date and they review it. My name is David Stallings and I am one of these straight dudes.
And I am Ricky Rivera, the other straight dude.
Today, or last night, this episode, I guess, we have seen and are... Why am I having a stroke? What's going on?
Take a
We
breather.
just saw... Okay. We
Yes.
just saw Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny.
Yeah, the Dial of Destiny.
And that was a movie. Hey, did everyone know that there was a new Indiana Jones suddenly out of nowhere? Because it doesn't seem like it.
I remember hearing about this Indiana Jones like 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then COVID happened, and then now we're here and it's 2023.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I've been feeling about everything we've been seeing lately. I felt the same way about Elementals. I remember hearing about it 4 years ago.
Yeah.
And then here we are.
Yeah.
It's like all
like,
of the, or even Barbie. Like I remember hearing about Barbie 4 years ago, and now here we are. It's been 4 years.
It's been too long. I can't believe
like
that
a
we still are having movies come out that are the result of like the post-pandemic, that they were being filmed like as the pandemic had started, and we're still just now starting to see them.
Well, we're just now starting to see them because, productions didn't kick back up until whatever, took maybe like late 2020, early 2021.
Yeah.
And then theaters had to test the market to see if we'd even come back.
Yeah.
So now it just feels weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like everything is like, oh yeah, I thought that came out already 4 years ago.
Yeah, especially
The
with
whole life.
especially with Indiana Jones as well. Like, I mean, the last one was the Crystal Skull or Crystal Kingdom, right?
Crystal Skull.
And that came out like a decade ago. Like, I remember being
2015, I think.
No, it's got to be earlier than that, because I remember very specifically the first movie I saw at the UltraStar theaters.
Yeah, it's
in
2008.
Yeah, I was 10, and I remember going to see the midnight premiere of it with my family. That was forever ago.
Wow.
Who cares about this IP anymore?
And Harrison Ford felt old then.
Yeah.
He felt really old then.
Yeah.
I remember watching that too and thinking, wow, can't believe he's still doing these movies in his 60s.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know in a couple more years he'd be doing them in his 80s.
Right, yeah. This, have you seen all of these as well?
Okay, so I thought about that beforehand. I've seen the first two. I've probably seen the third, but I don't remember it one bit.
All I remember from the third one is that he meets his dad and he's in a castle. And I kind of mainly remember that because I played Lego Indiana Jones.
Yeah, that was The Last Crusade, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and his dad, like, somebody betrays him. There's like
I think it was his dad.
It's either his dad or it's his girlfriend.
Uh-huh.
Somebody's like a double agent and tries to steal the thing.
Yeah.
I vaguely remember it, but I
Mhm.
don't remember it at all. Like I could name more parts of the first two movies than the third.
Yeah. See,
And the Crystal Skull I don't remember at all. It's the only one I ever saw in theaters. I've probably seen it the most.
What I remember from Crystal Skull is Shia LaBeouf is in it, and at the very end there's a little teaser about, hey, maybe Shia LaBeouf continues the mantle, and that got squashed immediately.
They barely address it in this movie. They address it at like one point an hour in.
Well, this was a depressing movie. This did not feel very fun.
So some context, last night when we left, we felt great. We thought, wow, that was a fun movie.
Yeah.
But we've had some time to ponder it, and we really explained the plot to friends and went, wait, that's not that fun.
Yeah, the more you think about this movie, like, Harrison Ford has said he's not doing this anymore. This is very likely, I mean, I say that, and then in a decade they'll reboot it again. But this is likely the final installment of this IP, finally. But that said, it's a very sad way to go, and not like a fun sad. It's just a depressing movie the more you think about it.
Yeah.
So I guess that leads into I can do the synopsis. Which, by the way, I think I joked about it last week about not doing the synopses anymore because I was having another stroke with it. That's not happening. But
You got this one down.
I'm not getting rid of these. Just this, people. I don't think people understand. This is the hardest part of this podcast for me.
Trying to explain a movie.
Yeah. Especially with how ridiculous all of these are. But I had friends text me who were like, please don't get rid of it.
Dude,
so don't worry.
The synopsis on Indiana Jones are just complicated already. The first movie is Nazis, but like
Aren't
it's more than that.
Aren't they all Nazis though?
No, I think the second one is like one of them's like I think the second one's like the Russians or something, right?
I don't remember. I just remember in the second one is the whole heart situation.
Well, I think the second one's a prequel to the first one.
Is it?
And then the third one is a sequel to the first one.
Bro, what are they? I don't remember these. This is from such an ancient age at this point.
Yep.
Like,
Yep, sorry, parents.
I saw these when I was
to
a
our
kid.
parents.
Yeah.
These are ancient
They
movies.
are. They are ancient
They
movies.
might as well be as old as the relics they're trying to discover.
Yes. They're from forever ago. They're not relevant anymore. Why did they make another one of these? There is no reason to. They tried it with the Crystal Kingdom. It's dead and done. And then they did it again. Like, no one cares anymore.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like the first movie is we're trying to stop an artifact from the Nazis because Hitler thinks that artifact can control the world.
I love how many of these movies, though, are about Hitler.
And the Nazis.
Yeah, like specifically Hitler is trying to get a new item.
Always Hitler. And then the second one is a prequel to the first one.
I don't recall that.
I think I'm going to look it up.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's like they go back and they're trying to stop like the Russians or something.
Okay. Well, interesting. Well, if it's the Russians, I feel like that would be Cold War-esque, which would be after. It doesn't matter. Again, these are ancient.
Yeah, it is a prequel.
Okay.
This one's he's tasked by Indian villagers with reclaiming a rock stolen by them by a secret cult beneath the catacombs of an ancient palace. That's just the temple, dude. That's just the one where the ride comes from, and
To
the
get
dude
a rock?
rips the heart out.
He's
Remember-
tasked with finding a rock?
Yeah, they find a rock. It's like this the crystals. It's like some magical crystals that the dude who the drinks he's like drink the blood of Common Ra or whatever. And remember, and he like rips people's heart out because he goes Kali Ma, and he rips your heart out of your chest. Those dudes are getting their crazy powers from this rock, like this crystal.
Oh.
And the town's like, no, we're the keepers of the crystal. They stole it. And then Indy's like, easy. I go retrieve that. Boom. I'm going to drink the blood. Boom. I'm in that, baby. We get that rock, we out.
Wow.
And then all the catacombs collapse.
Wow, I really remember absolutely nothing
And then
from that
Short
movie.
Round is just there. He's just vibing out. He's shooting people with the slingshot, probably.
Yeah, sure.
And then the third one, that's also Nazis.
We love the Nazis.
Gotta stop the Nazis.
Love the Nazis in these movies.
Yep, we gotta always stop the Nazis.
Gotta love it. All right, I'm going to try to... So with all of that kept in mind, I'm going to try to recap The Dial of Destiny, a 3-hour sci-fi film. Okay, deep breath. All right, so we start... God, all right.
You got
It's
this.
a flashback. It's the first 15 minutes is all a flashback, and it's Indiana Jones and his buddy, who I don't think is in any other movie, and they're trying. This is like post World War II, and Hitler's already gone, but he's not really, and there's Nazis who are still trying to steal artifacts, and Indiana Jones is trying to take back one. It's actually the Holy Lance. It's the lance that they stabbed Jesus with, apparently. And apparently it's a fake. That doesn't matter, but what's not a fake is that there's a Nazi on the train who has the Dial of Destiny that Archimedes made, but it's only one half of it.
But we're not gonna.
I'm not gonna try to say what it is. I'll butcher it. Archimedes made a dial, and there's only one half of it. And apparently, if you get both halves, you can time travel. You can go back in time.
You can control time as it stands.
Yeah, it's perfect. It's foolproof. And so they get that part, and then they defeat the Nazis. And then we fast forward to 1969, where Indiana Jones is the most depressing man alive, today he is retired. He's also in the process of getting divorced. His son, Shia LaBeouf, was killed in the war.
Yep, didn't mention it, but he died.
Yeah, they mention it briefly later on. And
no respect.
He has very little to live for, and they make that completely known to you. It's very sad. And on this retirement day, the daughter of the friend who was with them on the Nazi mission. Her name is Helena Shaw. Shows up and basically is talking to him about her dad's research into the dial, and it turns out Indy has the dial in the school and gives it to her, and then she runs off with it, betraying him as Nazis show up trying to take the item.
No, not Nazis. They're CIA at the time.
Right, they're part of
It's a part of the double agent conundrum that we keep going into in Indiana Jones. They're technically CIA because the guy built the spaceship to the moon.
Yes, he worked. Yes, he was a Nazi, but
nobody knows it.
No one knows, so he works as CIA. Sure, and okay,
very big deal until it's absolutely not.
It's like. I completely forgot that the CIA was in this movie.
The whole entire time he's on the screen, you know that it's the Nazi, and you're like, yeah, these are bad guys, except for the one detective who's like, guys, we're CIA. What are we doing? Why are we killing people?
Why are we killing? Yeah.
And then eventually they just got tired of her in the plot and they killed her too. Sorry, I just...
So, you're
that's
right.
That's what it is.
You're right.
It's a very weird plot. It's like 4 hours before the movie even starts.
I will continue to refer to them as the Nazis. So the Nazis... pretending to be CIA, they show up and also kill many professors in the process, and they take Indy, which in turn frames him for stealing and killing people somehow, and now he's worried about that. Helena takes the dial to Morocco to be sold, the only auction site in the world, apparently.
When did we frame him? I don't even remember them framing him.
No idea.
I'll save it for
just
after.
Being absent. We'll go into it.
Sorry.
Everyone knows if you are at a location where someone's killed and then you just happen to not be there anymore, you very clearly did it. That's the facts in the movie.
Even if you called the police.
You call them, yes. But that's the 60s. Indy manages to get away from the Nazis. They go to Morocco, and he tries to get the dial back from Helena, and also the Nazis reappear somehow. And then the Nazis get the dial, and then Helena apparently is also in bad with some of the Moroccan mob. So there's a whole chase that happens between Indiana Jones, Helena Shaw, the Nazis, and the Moroccan mob for 50 minutes. And then we get the dial back, and we have to go find an artifact in the ocean to track down the second part, and that's underwater. And
it's not even the second part.
It's not the second part. It's a map.
Hieroglyphics.
It's a thing to get to the second part. Trust me, it all makes sense. It all lines up. Okay. Also, so the boat that they go and commission is in Greece, and that's run by Antonio Banderas, otherwise Puss in Boots, which is best part of the movie. Hilarious. And they get the item under the water, but oh no, somehow the Nazis found them in the Mediterranean, which is cool. And then
because they're Nazis.
And then they pretend that they're giving all the information to the Nazis, but Indiana Jones and company escape, and it turns out there is something inside the map thing. And they go to the tomb of Archimedes, which is hidden in Sicily. And which, by the way, the Nazis were able to track him because they happened to look at the boat through the binoculars and recognized they weren't heading east in that very specific moment, but instead they were going west.
They blew up their boat, but then the boat was fine.
The boat was fine. These are the Nazis. They can teleport.
A stick of dynamite on a boat made in the 50s or the 60s.
Yeah. Here's what I learned about the Nazis in this movie is that they can teleport. Unstoppable. They know where you are and they can teleport. It's perfect.
They know exactly what dock you're going to be docking in, and you'll never see them coming, but they can see you the whole time.
100%. Everyone, that's a fact. Always remember it. And then we go to the tomb where we find the dial, and then we put the two pieces together, and then the Nazis reappear, and they take the dial, and then a shootout happens, and Helena gets away, but the Nazis keep the dial, and they shoot Indiana Jones directly in the heart, it looks like. Pretty close. This old old gentleman, straight in the heart, but he's alive. And it's revealed
fine.
that the plan is to take the dial and travel back in time to right before the war starts so that the Nazi can kill Hitler and become the head Nazi
Because
and win
he
the
saw
war.
all the mistakes that Hitler made. So
Yes.
he thinks he can do better than Hitler.
But it turns out there was continental drift, which Archimedes didn't account for, so they accidentally,
exist.
because they accidentally time travel to 2,000 years ago to the Battle of Sicily, where Archimedes actively is at currently, and then there's a whole there's a whole fight as the plane is going down while they time traveled, and then everything they kill the Nazis. And they meet Archimedes, and Indiana Jones actually straight up says, I want to stay here so I can die. I want to kill myself.
I want to witness history. And it turns out the dial wasn't actually for time travel. It was to bring people back to this exact moment to help them win the war.
Yeah.
That was quite literally the only thing. That dial...
Was that said?
Yes,
What?
yes. That's what she said. She said it. She was like, no, the dial wasn't made for time travel. It was made for him to get reinforcements.
This is so
And that's
dumb.
why he came running up, and he was like, "Yay, it worked!" That's why Archimedes was so excited.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even realize.
That's why Archimedes was so excited, because the time travel device was quite literally only set to come back to this exact moment, so that he could get help to win the war. That was it.
bro, I just looked over at the timer, and like this is like a 10-minute segment of me trying to explain this
It's
Nazi
a long movie. It's too long.
It's so long, and
It's 40 minutes too long. We
it
could have
ends
easily done
so
this movie in 40
abruptly.
minutes less.
Helena punches Indy in the face while they time travel, and then they're suddenly back home. Also, he reconnects with his ex-wife, and then the movie just ends, and that's it. It ends very limply.
All right.
All right, I did it.
Let me take over. You did a great job.
I did it.
In that time, I was able to look up all the plots for the 4 other movies.
Okay. We're gonna do synopsis for all of them.
No, I'm just gonna clarify. The Russians was the 4th movie, the Crystal Skull.
That makes more sense.
So the Nazis were the first. The second, no affiliation, just indie, just straight indie.
We just found people
because it was a prequel to the Nazi storyline. 3rd movie, Nazis again. 4th movie, Russians. 5th movie, Nazis again.
We go back to the tried and true, the Nazis.
So here's my thing.
Okay.
Usually you're the guy that doesn't like how long these movies last.
Mm-hmm.
But today, that's going to be me. I
Yes.
think this movie was like 40 minutes, and that is me being very gracious. 40 minutes too long.
Mm-hmm.
I thought of every point we could cut and trim down that we don't need.
Mm-hmm.
The car chase could have cut 10 minutes off the car chase.
I can't believe, as I've thought about it further and further, I cannot believe that car chase was actually, this is not an exaggeration, it was 20 minutes.
Yes, it was so long. We could have cut down half the time. It would have been just as cool. We could have cut down all the club scenes where we were trying to hassle off the dial. That storyline didn't even need to exist. Her trying to sell the dial. We could have just cut that all together, scrapped it. The boat stuff, we could have scrapped. We could have cut down some time.
Yeah.
Right? We could have shortened that a little bit. The tomb, oh my god. It was like I was watching a whole new movie when we got into the tomb. The time travel, it took 10 minutes to time travel.
Yep.
Too long.
Yeah.
Cut it in half. The battle, cut it in half. The intro to the movie, don't need it.
I beg to differ.
No, we do
Okay.
need it. We do
Bro,
need it.
the-
But
the
cut
be-
out the Lance thing.
Dude, the
Just make us
beginning,
look for the dial from the get-go.
the first 15 minutes of the movie, the whole flashback thing, I actually thought was kind of cool.
It was cool. Cut out everything looking for the Lance. Just get me straight into, I'm here for the dial. Oh, no, we didn't get the dial. Ah, dang, that dial could have had potential. Boom, we're in it.
Yeah.
Indy retiring? I don't care. Like, this movie was trying to set up, it was trying to do too much, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like, this was very clearly, Harrison Ford has said it 100 times since 2015, reconfirmed it in 2019, and has said it even to this day. This is the last Indiana Jones movie I'm ever going to do because I will quite literally die if I do another. These movies, my time is limited. I'm so old. Let me relax, please.
For people who don't know, I don't know if we said it already. He's 81.
Yes. So when they filmed it, he was like 78, 79, which is insane. I mean, respect to be
respect, bro. Hey, dude,
big respect. I hope I have enough energy to do what he's doing. He was doing like 40-mile bike rides and like 1 mile long walks every day. Like that's insane.
Yeah.
More props to you.
He killed so many Nazis, dude. I can't, as an 80-year-old man, I can't believe he's able to do that.
Now that being
I hope
said,
I can kill that many Nazis.
Yeah, it was crazy. With that being said, when I think of a last Indiana Jones movie, or at least Harrison Ford's last movie, I think there's one of two ways we go. We end the series because out of respect, we will never do another Indiana Jones, at least not for a while. We're not going to carry the torch. If we remake it, maybe in 20 years, whatever it may be. But as of right now, this is the last Indiana Jones. So let's go with a good ending. Or we pass the torch right here, right now, to a new character like they tried to do with Shia, and let's move this along. I feel like they tried to do both at the same exact time, and it did not translate. Because the girl, the goddaughter, the whole time I was like, okay, so is she going to be the next Indiana Jones? Yeah. Or is she not? But she's very clearly not because they've said this is the last one. But it felt like at a lot of times like she was.
Yeah.
Did you get that vibe?
I felt like they were trying to prop her up a lot. It just kind of sucks because her whole vibe was mainly, it felt like we are already dogging on Indiana Jones. He's in such a terrible state in life. He literally wants to die. And then we're going to throw in this character who's just way better than him at everything, apparently.
Oh, it's him, but younger.
Yeah.
It's literally just another version of him, which was how I felt. The character is literally just Indiana Jones 40 years ago.
But the thing is, that character was so unlikable to me. She was so irritating. And I felt like the best part of her was actually first meeting her, where she had like this geekish energy to her and very exciting charisma, and then she suddenly became a roguish entity, and I just hated her.
Yeah,
like there was nothing likable about her anymore for me.
Yeah, it kind of felt like you were watching like a teenager just parade around, but she's like a 30-year-old woman
and pretend she's better than everyone at everything. Like,
yes,
that was the vibe. So it just did not. I don't know how to put it, man. This movie, all it served. I'm surprised Indiana Jones was the name of the movie. Like, they just dogged on him the whole time. He felt so weak.
Yeah, he got made fun of for sure. But it just, like, it's so weird because it was really fun. Like, there's a lot of really fun moments that you're watching it. But when there's not action happening on the screen, you're just like, all right, let's hurry this up. Because I don't know what direction we're going. Are we trying to like me? I like a good ending. I like things to end. I like it when a show has an ending in mind and it ends. Same with movie franchises. I hate just being like I'm okay with open endings as long as we're gonna leave it at an open ending. Like Inception, for example. Like, I don't need a second Inception. I'm perfectly content with how the first Inception ended. Yeah. And if they made more, then that's fine as long as there's an end in mind now, because we can't end on more open endings. But with this, like with Indiana Jones, that's how I felt. I was like, all right, give me an ending, or let's continue the franchise. And I feel like at the end of it, it didn't feel like an ending. It was just like he got back together with his wife again for like the 5th time.
Yeah, I feel like it's a problem with intention in the writing of like, well, we don't know. We don't really know where we're going with this, right? And also, if this was a production that was trying to get started before the pandemic and then they had all this time, I feel like it runs into the same issue that we think Little Mermaid had, that the more time you have to try and put it together, the worse the outcome, like the more perfectionism you try, and it just gets muddied throughout. Like the objective of this movie felt so, I mean, there's the objective of just like the dial situation, right? But then we're trying to conclude it or pass the torch. Something has to happen.
And that's the hard thing with anything that we're trying to keep going years after the people who made the projects gave up on it. What made these movies so fun, the first 3, is that it was a George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, bang, bang, we're just knocking them out. Banger, banger, banger. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then the fourth movie, Last Crusade, it was okay, but it was still George Lucas and Steven Spielberg.
The Crystal Skull, right?
Yeah, Crystal Skull. It was all right, but it still had Steven Spielberg and George Lucas, so the direction was still the same.
Yeah.
This movie, neither of them.
Yeah.
All it is that they have their names on the producing tags and all of this. They may have had hands of piecing things together or whatever. You know what I mean? At a higher executive level, but neither of them are this is the first movie that Steven Spielberg's not the director.
Yeah.
Flat out. And I can guarantee you they really did not have as much of a hand as people probably think. Mm-hmm. They probably just saw the final product and went, good job, guys.
We will get the money. We will get the money. And that's great. Perfect.
Look, I think George Lucas does not care about anything anymore. I think George Lucas, this goes deeper, bro. It's just Star Wars. He's just like, you know what? I tried to introduce the midichlorians and nobody was into it. Screw you guys. I'm not going to do anything ever again.
Yeah.
Just take my brand, do what you want. I don't care. Screw all of you. It all sucks now. You didn't let me have the midichlorians. Uh-huh. Nothing will be good again.
Well, I do feel like
it's a Star Wars joke for you. No, some of those.
No, I get it.
No, I know you do.
Okay, all right, I get it. I promise.
I'm just saying it for the people who.
Yeah. There's some love for you guys. You know. I do think this movie is a shame because I was thinking about that too. That it feels like all of the great things that George Lucas was involved with seems to be falling pretty flat now.
It's just not the same.
They keep trying to reboot this stuff and build it up, and then they're just letting it collapse so spectacularly. I don't know if that's making sense.
No, it does. You can't recreate an original idea.
Yeah.
It's hard to recreate that initial creativity, right? Mm-hmm. Like you create Indiana Jones, you come up with this complex story. Because Indiana Jones is complex. If you really want to like for people who are like, no, it's just Indiana Jones, he's just using the whip and whatnot. Like, pay attention to the story because it is so everywhere.
Yeah.
We're stopping the Nazis, but we're also double agents helping stop the Nazis, and also Indiana Jones is a professor at the same time. Like, there's so much going on in all of his storyline, and that doesn't even include the young Indiana Jones show of the comeuppance.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's a lot going on, but all of that comes from one man who is just like, I got the idea. It's hard to pass that on 40 years later to somebody else.
You know, I was thinking about this last night that I do hold to this, and I think it would be the correct move in the future, that the character of Indiana Jones really could be passed on like a James Bond or a Batman situation. Where they could just, mainly James Bond is what I'm thinking of we continue the character, but recast him with whoever we want, but then all the originality just comes from, we come up with a new, item that the person's going after. So we could have had a whole movie with a very fresh take from a new actor as Indy, with this cool idea of a dial that can time travel. And just, it would be completely fresh. We don't have to have all this lore about he's divorced and retiring and suicidal and he's being framed for murder. It's just a new young Indy. That's it.
Yeah.
That would have been so fresh. That would have been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. It would have been cool to see. But it's like, on the other hand, you're messing with something from the 80s. And for a lot of people, if you touch the 80s, it's a big no-no, David. You can't mess with the 80s. That's the golden era. This
is fake. This is fake news. What you were saying.
No, you can't.
Both of the examples I just gave are also archaic. They're also archaic. You can mess with them constantly, and people still see all these movies.
Nothing will ever be good as the 80s, David.
We just had a new Batman last year that was freaking Robert Pattinson. There's a billion Batman movies,
and it will never live up to the 80s Batman. Who was it?
Who are you fighting for right now? Who are you fighting for right now?
Our dad.
Our dad. He doesn't care.
No, your dad doesn't care.
Christian Bale's the best Batman. Yeah. That's the best Batman. That was early 2000s. What are you talking about?
Look, Christopher. No.
Go on.
Christian Bale is not the best Batman. Christopher Nolan is the best Batman.
Okay, all right. Yeah. I see this.
It's the idea. It's the concept. Anybody could have played that role and it would have been epic. It's just Christopher Nolan.
I enjoy Christian Bale a lot in that, but whatever. I'm trying to disprove you about this 80s argument.
What if it was Leo?
I feel like that would have been weird.
Would have been awesome. Could you imagine?
I do not see it. But I also didn't see it with Robert Pattinson too. But I still didn't see that movie. Yeah, so I can't speak on that.
But see, Christian Bale would not have been good in Robert Pattinson's Batman.
Okay, all right. It's about style.
But Robert Pattinson, he probably could have pulled off Christopher Nolan's style.
Okay, all right. I understand your point.
I'm telling you, Christopher Nolan is what made those movies bangers.
Okay. Yes.
We got to get back to the point at hand.
I can see.
Don't mess with the 80s.
This is just false, what you are saying. This is false. This is so bad, what you're saying. You can mess with it and just do, it's just fresh. You want to keep, you have original ideas for the character, just get a new guy.
Well, see, I just wish it had, like, I don't know. I just feel like we weren't actually ending the series until, like, the last, like, 5 minutes. And then it was like, oh, yeah, this is the last Indiana Jones. He could just stay here in the past and just die. Or maybe he just dies.
Yeah.
Okay. It's kind of a sad way to go, like divorce and, 2,000 years ago, sons, like it's kind of sad. But him making up with his wife, that's okay. It was all right. Right? Like it was all right. But it didn't necessarily wrap it up. Like right now, if they were to say, oh, we're going to make an Indiana Jones 6, I would have totally believe it because it didn't feel like it was the end.
No. It was so, everything was just so sudden at the end. Of like, we got no resolution on Helena.
It's also
she's
Disney.
Just there.
They'll never end anything. Disney can't end anything because it's money.
Yeah. But that's why I say the fresh face would have been so ideal for this.
Yeah, I don't think Helena is the solution, but as it stands, she's the only person that it makes sense because it very much felt like we were passing the torch on to her.
Yeah, but they felt like that with Shia LaBeouf as well, and they just were like, never mind. We don't need to. I mean, Shia LaBeouf went insane, but that was still a few years later.
I don't know. Maybe what they'll end up doing, maybe they'll end up just making like a Disney Plus show and just base it off of her and try to see what kind of traction that gets.
I honestly don't think this movie's going to make enough money to justify that. Like, I don't think the reception to this character is going to justify that idea.
I feel like people are going to still go out and see it because it's Indiana Jones. It's a classic.
Yeah, I mean, our theater last night was pretty full. More than I thought it was going to be.
Dude, speaking of that theater, I don't remember what happened on screen. Because the movie was 5 hours. But there was one moment where Indiana Jones said something funny. It wasn't funny.
It wasn't. It was a quick little one-liner. It was about Poland.
Oh, that's what it was.
It was.
He's like, you should have never left your apartment. And then the guy's like, and then Indiana Jones looked back at the Nazi and goes, you should have never left Poland. Nobody laughed except for one guy in the back of the theater. He went, oh! He thought it was so funny. I'm so sorry. I blew out the sound. But he thought it was so funny that we all laughed because of his laugh. Yeah. It was so funny, bro.
It was so loud.
And it was just like a genuine like old man laugh.
This guy,
awesome.
that line, it just tickled his funny bone in the right way and he went crazy, bro. That was so good.
It was awesome. That's my favorite part of the whole movie.
Same, dude.
I think that really brought it back around. And after that, I was revitalized.
Actually, my favorite part of this movie was none of the main characters. It was the majority of the day player roles of all the background people.
Yeah.
Dude, there were, I think it was 2 guys in particular that when they were on screen, you and I just kept laughing.
It was the backup man for the Moroccan mob.
Yep, he had a big curly black mustache, and I'm pretty sure he was looking directly into the camera with the expression of like, "Why am I here? Why am I here?" And then he looked at his boss with these huge, wide eyes, like, "Why are we here?"
They could have given him the voice line of Tim Allen just going, "Ugh."
Yeah,
but that's what I felt like I was looking at, just that.
And then the other guy was one of the people on the boat before they went scuba diving. This shirtless man who was just, what was he doing? I think he was just there and with a weird smile.
He was just existing.
Like, oh, like
He was just existing, but he was like party boy. He had like a little small, like skimpy little shorts on.
Yeah.
And he was just ripped out of his mind wearing like cuffs. I think he had like cufflinks on or something.
Yeah. And it's like the main characters are on the screen talking actively, but you can't take your eyes off of these people in the background. Just like, what a world they're living in.
He actually looked like a male stripper who was supposed to be manning a party boat is what he looked like. Like 100%. It's not even a joke.
And
He
like,
really
wow,
just
this guy
looked
is
like
just
that.
on this boat, huh?
Yeah, he's just on the boat. And it's funny because everybody else on the boat is like trashy little pirate like kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Except for this one guy. And it was so funny. It was just so funny. I think they put them in there as a joke because Indiana Jones always has fun little like background characters.
Do they?
But I mean they've always had random stuff. I remember I think it was in like the second movie. There's like a scene that was really good where he's like Indiana Jones is talking about the guy who he's competing against. And maybe it's the first. Where he's talking about the guy he's competing against and he's like, who knows where he could be? He could be anywhere right now. He might even have the artifact and is taking it to the Nazis right now. And then it immediately cuts to the guy he's talking about and he's just in a crowd in Morocco going, hello? Does anyone speak English? Hello? It's amazing. So they've always had just like stupid little quirky moments like this. So that could have been what it was, but
I do not remember anything of these movies.
that one sticks out to me because I thought that was so funny.
Yeah.
Just
I was tangent. I'm sorry. I'm very surprised that I didn't realize Mads Mikkelsen, I think is his name. He's the main Nazi, and he's like he was in Rogue One, and he was the bad guy in Doctor Strange. Every time I've seen this man, I'm like, this guy's awesome. This is a great actor.
He's a great villain.
Yeah,
So good.
love his vibe. He was probably my favorite part of this movie. I don't think the script served him well, but he was a good Nazi. That's what I have to say about him.
I just don't think the script.
I think no one actually looked it over. I think they kind of just threw out some ideas and then were like,
Yeah.
let's just see what sticks. And they forgot to check what would stick.
And that's the thing with this movie. It just felt like we were just throwing in a bunch of cool things to make it Indiana Jones like.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you were to watch all these movies in order, which is like what you kind of want to do, right? When you make a franchise, you want to make the movies watchable.
Yeah.
If you watch it all and you're like, oh, wow, what a great series I just did. I feel like you'd be kind of disappointed once you hit this one because you'd be like, oh, that's it. That's the ending.
Mm-hmm.
We just traveled back in time, which was crazy. It was a crazy idea to travel back in time. That was wild. I am happy that it wasn't overly complicated. Like it wasn't like they weren't trying
it wasn't crazy.
They weren't trying to set up ground rules beforehand. They weren't trying to, once we get it, we got to break it down into the machine and blah, 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 blah. They were like, nope, all it's going to do is it's going to tell you where the time fisher is and it'll point you to the direction.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the time fisher will happen no matter what. You just won't know where it is or when it is or whatever until you get this dial.
Yeah. I think one of the big issues with this movie, because I actually think that the first 15 minutes and the final 15 when they're back in time, I think those are the best parts of the movie. And that leaves over 2 hours of nothing fun. Both of the first and the last scenes of this movie actually felt like they were Indiana Jones. Like they were a cool adventure situation, and now we're fighting and like all this craziness.
I liked the tomb. The tomb was cool too. Like seeing Indy go back through another tomb. And
yeah, it just felt kind of long.
It was.
Everything felt long.
Everything felt longer than it should have been, but I think that they should have focused more on the stuff that make Indiana Jones. Like the tomb stuff, we could have made that 30 minutes and just cut out everything in Morocco.
Yeah.
And I think that would have been perfectly justified because that's Indiana Jones. It's literally what he does.
Yeah.
He goes into old tombs and old caves and is trying to hunt things down.
Mm-hmm.
And like we kind of just overlooked it once we got to it, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the fun of Indiana Jones is the adventuring. Mm-hmm. And I feel like we spent 30 minutes on a car chase.
Yeah.
Like the car chase was fun, don't get me wrong. Like like we were laughing. We had good laughs.
And it gave me the vibe of like, I am on the Indiana Jones ride from Disneyland. Like,
yeah, it was funny.
It's just why did it have to be so long? There was no reason.
Yes. It ended at one point and you were like, oh, that was fun. And then it's like, whoa, we're back in. All
Okay,
right.
we got to keep going.
And
All
then
right.
it had like another point where it could have stopped. And then it was like, oh, we're back in it again.
Yeah.
All right. The third car trace. All right.
Yeah. But I really do think the beginning hooked me very quickly, though. I was actually like super into this right out of the gate. I thought the whole flashback thing with we're infiltrating a Nazi castle, and now we're on a train, and now we're killing a bunch of Nazis, and I accidentally got this dial item. I actually thought it was so fun. It felt so Indiana Jones to me.
Yes, that was fun. And that's crazy, the CGI they did to make him look young.
He looked kind of like he was made of rubber to me at times.
That's why it was all dark, dimly lit.
Yeah, bro, the whole scene's at night so that we can get away with that if we can't see his face.
Well, they weren't doing it to just him. They had to do it for the other guy, too.
Yeah. But there was that, and then the actual implementation of the time travel thing and seeing them flying over a active, like, a siege going on in ancient Sicily or whatever was crazy. And it was hilarious because people started yelling out that there was a dragon.
That was funny.
The Romans have dragons.
Yeah, because it's a Nazi plane flying over the Sea of Sicily, and it's just like,
Was so funny
we
to
got
me.
dragons. They have dragons.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
And then they started targeting the plane while Indiana Jones is trying to take on the Nazis, and they have a limited amount of time to get back to the time fisher. Like, it was so chaotic, but that moment was actually really cool to me. It's just such a shame that all the stuff in between. I guess the tomb was kind of interesting. It just felt, again, it was so long, but we had so much in between that just was not fun.
My favorite part was not my favorite part, but this goes back to explaining why I couldn't tell if this is the last movie or not. Because the whole time when Indiana Jones is in the past, he's like, just leave me here. This is like, I've quite literally done my whole life dedicated to history, and I get to be a part and watch history. Like, this is like quite like what archaeologists wouldn't pass, like, who would pass up on that opportunity to go back to something you studied your whole life on?
Yeah.
You literally learned these people's language, and it's 2,000 years ago. There's no need for the language now.
Yeah.
But you learned it. You know what I mean? Like how cool would that be?
Yeah.
And so, like, he's in that moment where he's just like, man, just leave me here. And then Helena's like, no, you have more to offer. And then he's like what? I just retired. And then she's like, you got more to offer, Indy.
I don't know. You
And
got
he's like,
something.
I literally don't. I just got shot. My wife left me. My son is dead. I just retired. The only friends I had just got killed. I don't even like you because you've betrayed me 5 times.
You were the
in
worst
movie.
character.
You've betrayed me literally 3 times.
You've treated me. You've treated me with less friendship than the Nazis.
Yeah, I would rather just die here. And then she just punches him in the face and says no. Mm-hmm. And then he goes back home. All of a sudden, his wife comes home and she's like, "Missed you, Indy." And then they do the deed. They do the dirty. And that's
Yeah,
it.
by
That's how the
dirty,
movie
they
ends.
kiss. He kisses her funny bone.
That's how the movie. That's probably a reference to something I don't remember.
Well, it's basically a tomb at this point. All those other movies.
Yeah.
So
Leave the 80s alone, David.
it's-
Stop making
it's-
fun of the 80s.
it is the Stone Age. Okay, it is irrelevant. No,
Remember VHS?
couldn't be me. Couldn't be me.
We're like 3 generations beyond that.
How dare you? How dare you bring up such miserable technology?
Yes.
This movie was so lame, bro.
See, like, that's the thing. Like, when we left, it felt really fun because we just got off the best part of the movie. But and I think what did it too is the soundtrack. The only thing that stayed consistent is the soundtrack. It's still John Williams. And for those who know, John Williams is a mastermind. He just is brilliant. He's the only man on earth, I think, that has kept his work consistent no matter what. Here we are 40 years later, and the score feels like I'm watching the first movie.
Yep.
when that intro, when the end credits came on, and I hear da 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 da, which I think was the first time we heard it all movie. I was just
I think they did. I think they did like variations of it throughout.
That was the only ending that felt like this was the end. Was listening to that end credit outro of the theme song. Mm-hmm. That was the only time I ever felt like, wow, it's really over.
No,
and that's how that made me feel, and that's all thanks to John Williams. He's the only man who gave me an ending.
Yeah.
Because it was just epic. It was like, da, 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 da. It like barely dragged just a little bit just to make it feel.
But you know, it's funny. They still did the little like, and I think they did this at the end of every Indiana Jones movie where they like show his hat somewhere and then suddenly he grabs it and then it cuts to black.
Yeah.
They did that again as like an indicator of he's not done yet. And it's like, bro, just kill him then. Like.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I'm saying. Like, that's why I feel like I don't know if it ended, because I feel like what they did was, if they do want to bring it back, maybe Indy's just like a consultant. Maybe if he's still alive, IRL, we could just be like, hey, Indy, like, oh, we got to go back and see what Indy would think. And then here we go. We show Indy just like we did. We show Harrison Ford just like we did in Star Wars Episode 7. Comes out of nowhere. We all clap and we're like, woo, Harrison Ford. Yeah. And then he's there for 3 minutes and then we're gone. It's like, cool.
Bro,
But like, he's made it so clear he's not going to do it again.
Yeah, that's why let someone else be cast as him. Just start over. Just do it again. But it's not the same movies. Just make different cool artifacts to go after.
I think they could have easily done that with this movie, but because they didn't, I think they have to wait.
Yes.
They got to wait at least like 10 years, because anything less, I'm going to be like, bro, didn't we just have an Indiana Jones? I feel like we just had Indiana Jones and it was
15 years ago.
It was 15 years ago. It felt like it came out in 2015.
I was 10 years old when that movie came out.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean,
was a baby.
We also aren't like mega fans of it, because I know people love Indiana Jones. So I would love to hear thoughts from somebody who is like super into Indiana Jones. Like,
I mean, the guy in the back of the theater was super into it.
We should have talked to him and asked him.
We should have interviewed him when we were done.
Because you know, like, I would love to see what people who genuinely love these movies think of it. It's like talking to like a Star Wars head on what they think about the Star Wars movies. You know, it's like, the real Star Wars heads are going to be like, oh, there was like this one reference, and it's like, bro, I don't know, I thought it was fine. It was whatever. It's all right.
Yeah. You
know what I mean? It's like the guy, I want to talk to a super fan.
Yeah, we're kind of just casuals with this franchise, I would say. I mean, I've dogged on all of the movies today, I guess.
No, you've dogged on the 80s, David. Stop.
Yeah, the entire decade.
You're calling them ancient.
Decade I've been dogging.
It was 40 years ago. Get over it.
No. Look, it's just, the more I've thought about this movie, man.
Stone Age.
It is. Thank you for I just lost everything, bro. I just lost everything in my head.
That's how this movie felt. I feel like we caught the secondhand, like 80-year-old. That was the other thing. Every time Harrison Ford ran, I was like, oh my God, somebody catch him.
Yeah.
Like he didn't get to do much. Like, I can't think of many action scenes he was really. I mean, obviously he did like the big car chase, but when you really boil it down, did you ever see him like? He didn't do much fighting, did he?
Well, the entire opening scene.
He fought there, yeah,
was fighting.
Yeah, but that was Indy in his prime, technically. So like that was
but
we're allowed to do.
Isn't that still like? So are you saying like the character was a struggle to watch, or actually Harrison Ford?
Well, Harrison Ford was kind of a struggle to watch, but Old Man Indy didn't do many Indy things.
Sure, he did ride a horse through downtown New York during a parade.
That felt very Indy.
That was kind of wild. And then he also kicked down 50 metal shelves onto the Nazis and fell onto them and survived.
But what about the whip? When did he use the whip?
When did he use the whip?
Because that's Indy. Bro, the first time in the first movie, Indy literally uses the whip to lock it onto a wooden branch to jump over a spike pit. That was so epic.
I legit don't think he used the whip. And other than the opening scene. Young Indy.
That's Young Indy. That doesn't count.
Yeah, I'm clarifying that.
We could redo Young Indy all day.
But as Old Man Indy,
I think
I don't think he used it at all.
I think he used it when they were in the Morocco club, and he like was just trying to make noise. I think that was it. I think
he was
that's it.
making
But he didn't even
noise.
use it for anything other than just whipping it, and that was it. And it didn't even feel like a real moment. It was so quick you could have missed it.
Well, it was quick enough that I completely forgot it already. And
Yeah,
I saw it less than 24 hours
I don't
ago.
remember him ever using the whip. But like
Yeah.
in all the other movies, he uses the whip for everything. He uses it to attack. He uses it to grab. He uses it to swing.
He uses it to love.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
You understand.
Mm-hmm.
But in this one, he didn't do it very much. Yeah, I don't remember him cracking the whip once, and that's like his trademark.
Yeah.
The whip.
Yeah, he look, they set out and did a good job of making Indiana Jones feel like such a lame, weak character. That's the legacy that they've decided to leave on him.
Yeah, I mean, you know.
It's a lame, weak man who's lost everything he's ever loved, and like maybe he's gonna get his wife back, and that's it.
And that's it. And the goons were kind of weak too, like all of the Nazi.
Well, here's the thing. One of them is, I can't remember his name. He's an actor I've seen multiple times.
He's in like Narcos and
He's
stuff
in
like
Narcos. I love this guy. His whole look. What is his name? What is this man's name? He looks
Boyd Holbrook.
Boyd Holbrook.
Right? Is this the man we're talking about?
I think so. Hold on. Yes. Everything he's ever been in with that little mustache.
Yeah, he
and
looks
his
so
slicked back
cool.
blonde hair. He's so cool. And there's something about his vibe that in everything he's in, I'm like, you're a cool guy.
He's a cool dude.
You're a
That's a cool guy.
I like you.
He
Yeah.
looks so lame in this.
Yeah. He was, yeah. I just like his vibe. That's all I have to say about him. But I think I just enjoy them in Narcos a lot, so I enjoy seeing him more.
The best part of the movie is Antonio Banderas, and that's pretty much...
Yeah, showing up
That's all
for
you
5
need.
minutes for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, that was awesome. But everything else, I don't know, man. It felt weird. It didn't feel like I was watching the last Indiana Jones,
No.
you know? Like, it just didn't feel like it was the best send-off. And then when you explain the plot to somebody of like, no, this one he goes back in time, which Indiana Jones has had some crazy concept. I mean, we opened up the Ark,
The Ark of the Covenant,
Ark of the Covenant, and it melted people's faces off. We watched somebody rip somebody's heart out. We watched the Holy Grail, like we've seen the Holy Grail give life and taketh life. We've seen all that, but going back in time felt like a big stretch. That felt very. I was like the whole time. I remember looking at you and I was like, bro, there's no way they commit. Like, there's no way they actually go back in time. I kind of want to see it now. It just sounds bad enough that I want to see it.
Yeah.
But it's not. It wasn't a good thing though. Like, I didn't want to see it because I thought it'd be good.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see it because I was like, there's no way they do it.
Yeah.
There's no way we commit, right?
Yeah.
And then they commit.
I liked them committing to it. I thought that was probably one of the best scenes of the movie.
That's a cool scene, but it felt very weird. I was like, ugh.
It was weird, but it was still like I don't think I have the same perspective on that part as you, because like the other stuff in the previous movies we've dealt with are like literally we're dealing with God and we're dealing with these voodoo things
Time
and like
travel, multiversal, interdimensional.
I mean, I'm not going that
Quantum,
far.
yeah.
I'm not going that far, but like time travel, not that it's like a thing that's on the way, but it's like, okay, that's kind of in the same realm, I would say, as like we've dealt with the Ark of the Covenant and the Holy Grail and stuff, and they have that power. Like, I don't know. I don't think it's that much of a stretch for this universe, for the Indiana Jones universe, to explore that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I guess I see what you're saying. It's not too far off.
It didn't irk me as much. You know, it's like, hey, there was a guy, there's a relic, and he tried to time travel, and what did he do with it? He literally just went forward for a little bit and then came back. That's it.
Yeah.
And it's nothing crazy. Like I really did think the idea behind it was original and interesting. And then
I liked the idea that it doesn't actually control time travel. It just controls, you just go back to this one point to come help.
yeah, interesting idea. But I I actually thought it was interesting. I think the context of just like how depressing Indiana Jones was throughout was kind of like, I don't like this. I'm not having as much fun as I could be.
Yeah, that's a good point. I did think too when Helena makes that comment about like, no, this only leads to come back to this moment to help him. I was thinking when we were going through the tomb, I was thinking in my mind, I was like, why do all these ancient Egyptian, Roman, whatever things have a map leading to where these items were that are so dangerous?
The forethought that these people continue to have back in the actual Stone Age.
Yeah, like why are we like, man, this is the worst thing known to man. Let's make a map to it.
Yeah.
No, just take it down. This one made sense why there was a map.
Mm-hmm.
Come help.
Yeah.
But like even in, you know what I mean? I'm like, huh. Like I felt that same way when we watched what was it, Shazam, when it was like the most powerful thing, the most powerful man on earth or whatever. He's only hidden in that rock over there, but he's somewhere in there. You
mean Black Adam?
Him. Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
Black Adam. It's not Shazam. Black Adam. Yeah, it's like the same thing. It was like, we should never unearth it, so here's a map.
Yeah.
Like, why do we have maps?
Just don't acknowledge it.
Just die with that knowledge, bud.
Seal the tomb. Just
die with it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll never
blow it up.
explore
That's
again.
it. Why lead people to it? You're saying this is literally the worst thing ever made? Okay. Be gone. Why make a map?
That's why this one, I was like, oh, this makes more sense.
We will need help in the past.
That's why
Please come help.
That's why when they saw the Pegasus on the tomb, it had propellers on it.
Because they saw the
Because
dragon.
they saw it already.
They saw the dragon.
Yeah, you see, this already happened. This moment in time happened, and this will be a constant loop forever and ever and ever.
Yep.
Which is why Helena was like, you got to actually leave with me because we're not supposed to stay. We were always supposed to come here, Indy. We were always supposed to come here and do this exact thing because it's on the tomb. We were never supposed to stay.
Yep.
Huge big brain. Good job, writers.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
It's a weird one. This is a weird movie. It's kind of, you kind of come out of it feeling a little, I don't know.
Look, here's the deal. Majority of people, they don't know this movie's out. This is not the movie to go see. Unless you're like super into Indiana Jones, to which I say you will not enjoy, in my opinion.
Just wait till it comes out on Disney+.
Just wait till it streams, or after you listen to this episode, just take this all as gospel.
Yeah, I think the only time I would ever watch this movie again is if I felt in the mood to binge Indiana Jones.
Every single one of them.
Yeah, like if I'm gonna watch the first three, I'm gonna watch the last two. You know what I mean? Like,
but why?
I know that's the thing.
But why would you watch the last?
But why
two?
would I? But like, I already spent 6 hours watching the first three.
Yeah, but
What's
like the
4?
first three are like a known good, you know?
Yeah, but at some point you get tired of watching movies from the 80s. You want to see something cool.
Right, but if they're a known good compared to the bad new ones, like maybe
I just got to commit to it.
It's that same situation with like Pirates of the Caribbean, you know, where when you go back and watch those, you watch the first three, and not the new ones. You know what I mean?
I got to commit.
No, I don't think you do.
See, for me, I'm the kind of guy that it's like I recently did all the Lord of the Rings, and then I was like, well, I got to go rewatch The Hobbits too, because I just spent 15 hours watching The Lord of the Rings. But I personally don't think The Hobbits are very good. I just was like, I gotta watch them.
I think Colton and I did a marathon of starting with The Hobbits into The Lord of the Rings, so that it was actually
bless your soul.
Chronological. I actually thought it was fun. I thought it was a good time.
They're fun, but like that's for another. This is for another time.
I thought it was a good time.
I think. Look, bro, we could have a whole episode.
I think it was a good time.
Was it worth 10 hours to see Smaug go absolutely berserk for 3 minutes?
That's true. Yeah.
Because that was awesome. That is the best. That is one of the best endings to a movie, in my opinion, is The Hobbit 2. Mm-hmm. And then The Hobbit 3, they're like 5 minutes in, it's over.
Yeah, because we got to get to apparently the bigger issue of all of the armies.
Yeah, what do we do afterwards? The real issue is the fallout.
Yeah.
Because the dragon, that's easy.
Apparently, yeah. The
Yeah.
dragon was super easy to kill.
That's what I don't like too much about those movies. And then like the first movie, and then the whole thing with I can't remember. It's a different topic. The Hobbit. I thought they were fun. I could talk about the Lord of the Rings.
I thought they were
all
fun.
day. I love Lord of the Rings.
I thought they were fun.
They were fun, but like
I had a good time.
I don't know. I don't think they're as good as the first three.
I mean, yeah, I can see that. I don't think they are that bad though. Like comparatively to like the other franchises we just mentioned.
Yeah.
Right. Like
I
the
gotta
Hobbits. I feel like they were still fun, but like, bro, I'm never gonna watch Indiana Jones 4 or 5 ever again.
Nah, dude.
If I watch Indiana Jones again, it will be the first 3 with like my kid like way down the line.
Nah, dude, you got to commit to the last.
Why
2.
would I commit to the last 2? So they could be depressed about, wow, look at the downfall of this cool figure that you were enjoying in the first 3 movies.
You got to do it.
Why?
First full circle. We got to know how they ended it.
Bro,
Maybe
Indy
there was
is
something to it.
actually suicidal in this new movie.
Nah.
Yes,
yes, he was.
He is. It's
what I'm
horrible.
saying is like if I were to, this the only way I rewatch his movies is if I'm watching them all again. I don't think I'd ever rewatch his movie again.
I cannot fathom anyone watching this movie a second time. But I guess to each their own. If you watch it again, let me know, and then you can yell at me and prove me wrong. Okay. That said,
True.
I think it's time for banana meter.
Banana meter.
Banana meter. Whoa! They got a whip. They all have whips. Holy cow! They're throwing bananas into the air and whipping them. Active. Okay, now it's all right. They're whipping in the rhythm of a rave now. Okay.
Now they're throwing a party. That one's a lasso over there. Yeah.
All right. Sick.
Woo!
God, it gets more and more terrifying every single time they come into this room, dude.
Why do you have so many whips?
That's of their volition. I did not supply these. Okay, I did not supply these.
Yeah.
Okay, don't do this to me.
Ooh, Minnie Mouse whip. Ooh.
No.
Let me see that.
No.
Ooh, the handle. It has DS in it. Interesting.
No, it does not. There is, nope. No.
All right.
Stop.
All right. There you
This
go, bud.
is fake news. This is fake. This is misinformation.
The minion came to me and he handed me a whip with your initials on it.
No.
I don't want to know.
No, they all put my initials on it out of their love for me, their mini boss, okay? That I did not have anything to do with this.
Mom? No. I swear they're not mine.
They're not mine. All right, you want to start it off?
No, I started last week. You do it.
Okay,
You do
fine.
it.
All right, fine. I'll do it.
I think you might have a higher rating, maybe. We'll see.
I don't know. I'm thinking about it. There's really only 2 good scenes in this movie. The beginning and the end, but like not the very end, because the very end is just lame. So it ends horribly, and then 2 hours and 15 minutes are just nothing. They're not fun. We get to see Indiana Jones just be pathetic and sad and depressed, and there's like a few, like he gets some action somewhere in this, but then he gets outshined by Helena Shaw, who no one likes. She's just kind of there, and there's no point to her, and then things just resolve. So I really don't think this movie has anything fun to it. I think the beginning and end are the best parts. If anything, the only thing I'd recommend is I just enjoy Mads Mikkelsen a lot. So I liked seeing his performance every time he was on screen. I was like, oh, this is fun. And when he put on the Nazi uniform, kind of was like, why are you embodying this, like, so well?
I know.
Like,
Seriously. You're like,
good actor.
I could watch more Nazi pieces from you.
Yeah. Like,
And then watch
Did a
you
really-
die 100 times.
yeah, did a really good job for some reason in that. Man,
Makes you really hate him.
yeah, for real.
But that's good. That's a good thing. 'Cause
Yeah.
You shouldn't ever like a Nazi for being like, oh, that's a cool guy.
Yeah, shouldn't be liking the Nazis, okay? Just a reminder to everyone out there. Man, was there anything redeemable about this movie? I guess the background actors were the best part.
Hey, I
and I
mean-
guess there was some fun with, like, the car chase. Like,
Some fun moments.
it's fun
Harrison
moments.
Ford's 80 years old. That is a talent in itself to be
Yeah.
still acting.
I just don't think this movie's worth watching at all. Like, lame is really the best word for it. I think I'll give this movie a big 30.
Whoa.
Like, it was just like Mads Mikkelsen was probably my favorite part. And then there are some fun moments. And if you're an Indiana Jones fan, like, there were other people in the theater who were hooting and hollering, and it sounded like they actually keep up with Indy more.
Wow. You rated it lower than I thought you would. I thought you were going to be way higher than mine.
No. Why? I mean, like, it's that vibe of, like, I had fun, and then as you try to think more about the movie, you're like, no.
Yeah, you come out of it in a very fun state.
There was a mask of fun that they put on us without my consent.
I think the part of me that came out with a lot of fun, though, is the fact that I'm going to Disneyland in like 3 weeks, and it made me really want to ride the Indiana Jones ride.
That's going to be a good time. That's going to be a good ride.
That was all I took out of it. Mm-hmm. I was like, dude, I can't wait to ride this ride. This ride is awesome.
That's
top 5 ride of Disney.
That probably was just my favorite part of the movie, actually, was starting to think about being on the ride instead of watching the movie.
Yeah.
Because the ride is very fun.
The ride's great. So many memories. Every time your dad would fight, like, would be like, hey, you guys mind if my son sits in the driver's seat? And then you're in the driver's seat and you're like, oh, I'm going to screw this up. You're like telling everybody, you know?
You're thinking like, oh my gosh, I actually have to drive the car.
Yeah, I have
Do
to
they
drive
know
the
I
car.
don't have a license?
Yeah, and then somebody's like, go to the left door. And you're like, I'll try.
It's not moving.
Try.
Or then when you're in the hallway leading up to the big thing, to the big face, and you're not supposed to look him in the eye, and then you try so hard not to look, and then you go through anyway, and you're like, who looked?
Who looked? Which one of you looked? Yeah. Get me out of the snakes. I hate that snake, dude. That snake is so loud.
It's so,
Yeah, no, that's like core memories is where, you know, dad letting me drive the Indiana Jones car.
That's good, Dad.
And then everybody applauds you at the end and like, you know what? We made it, kid. And you're like, we did make it. Dang it. We did. 3 people broke their back, but it was worth it.
Yeah, for real. 30. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, you know, for those core memories alone, that was a pretty big boosting in my rating. I give Harrison Ford props. I like Harrison Ford a lot, and I think to still even be okay with doing a movie like this in his 80s is insane.
Yeah.
I just feel bad. I feel like it wasn't a very good ending for Indiana Jones. I feel like, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of hard to say because maybe that's how Harrison Ford wanted to go out. If that's how Harrison Ford wanted to go out, then okay.
Yeah.
But it just didn't. It felt very weak.
But did no one critique that idea? Like, this is...
Or just make it known.
Just make it known.
Like, dude, if they were like, hey, this is Harrison Ford, this is the way he wants to go out. As in, I would have been like, I respect that. Mm-hmm. But I don't feel like it was. I feel like he said, give me the paycheck. Dang it, I'll just do another. Screw it. Give me the check. And let's just end this. I'm never going to do it again. Mm-hmm. This is my one time. It's your one pass.
I feel like I'm not too sure about if the money grab thing at that age. At that point, it really has to be the love of the game.
Just
thing,
finishing
right?
your arcs.
It's more like, I think Harrison Ford is much more of just like, I love to act. I want to keep doing what I can. Oh, you're going to make another movie with me and make it work with me, an 80-year-old man? Great, cool. I want to do it. Like, that's the vibe that I've always gotten from him now.
Yeah.
And
I feel like he's just trying to finish off his story arcs.
Yeah, I really don't get the vibe from him ever of like it's a money grab thing. I really find that hard to believe.
He just doesn't want to get recasted.
Yeah.
He's like, I just don't want to have to get recasted. Let me just finish myself off here.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah, I don't know, man. That's hard to say though, because then you look at Episode 9 of Star Wars and you think, why did Harrison Ford ever come back for that? Mm-hmm. That was so lame.
Yeah.
That was worse. I was happy with his death, and then they brought him back as a hologram, and I was like, bro.
Yeah. Stop.
No, I don't need it.
Maybe he's just constantly getting asked to do stuff, and he's never learned how to say no. You know?
See, I think the opposite. I think they ask him too much, and he's eventually just like, shut up, I'll freaking do it.
Mm-hmm. They just keep hounding him, you think?
I think they keep hounding him, and he's like, dude, these guys will not stop. He's just an old man, so he's just like, they're probably like, hey, Harrison, just reaching out to your agent, just, you know, in case, you know, you're thinking of coming back for one more indie movie. It's totally up to you. You don't have to. Thanks, bye. And then he got that from his agent and was like, damn it. These kids won't stop pestering me. I guess I'll do it again.
Yeah.
You know, like there's probably like one that person asked, and he was.
Yeah.
But anyway, my number here, David, I like 42. I give it a 42. I throw a 42 on it, put a bow on it, ship it off. I think it was it was O.
I'm pretty sure. 42, the year that Harrison Ford was born.
Yep. See, that's why I knew. I felt like this was a good number.
That's some intuition right there.
That's where I felt like it was a good number. I got a lot of good memes from the Indiana Jones ride, and that gave like 40 points.
Yeah.
No, I didn't give 40
Yeah,
points. But it gave a lot. It gave me a lot, and like the soundtrack's amazing. It looked fine. It was cool to see Indy do old man, or not old man, like going back into past and like refighting the Nazis. That was fun.
Yeah.
It was cool to see him just, be Indy, but I really wasn't Indy. I just liked the tomb stuff. That was cool for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that.
New short round, kind of mid, not really that great.
We didn't even talk about him. The kid was just kind of
whack.
Yeah,
the kid was there. He didn't
need him. I don't know why we needed this.
Helena, I don't see why she needed. I see why she was there. She drove the story.
Yeah.
I just don't think we needed so much backstory to invest in her. We spent so much time investing in her backstory for it to literally mean nothing.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the last movie.
We didn't get anything solved with her character arc too. Like her character was literally just nothing.
She's engaged to some Moroccan mob boss.
Yep. Don't know why. Don't know why it came up.
That
was literally just an aside, just to add another entity to a car chase.
Yeah. So I just feel like it was kind of a weak ending for Indy. I don't know. I personally would have been a lot happier, I think, if he died. I know that sounds really bad, and people probably won't agree with that.
Yeah.
But I think that would have been the most emotional way to send him off. Is he just dies, and that's okay, because in life we all die eventually.
People die.
We all are gonna die eventually. Why not Indy?
Yeah.
We did it. I mean, that's my favorite part of Episode 7 of Star Wars is when Han Solo dies. That's like quite like I remember watching that and I just like shed a tear. And I was like, no, Han.
Yeah.
I would have done the same for Indy. I would have been like, no, Indy, how are you gonna run from that ball every single time when I ride the ride, and then be totally fine at the end?
Yeah.
How you gonna do that?
Yeah.
If you're dead, you can't do that.
But
now I'm gonna be like, old.
Yes, the reaction we all will have. Perfect.
42, like it, leave it there, pack it up in a little ball, just throw it at the minions, chuck it at their face.
All right.
That rounds it out to what, a 30 something?
36.
36. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good rating for this
movie. It's a weak movie.
Yep.
Just give me
very
mid.
mid.
I want to just like hold X, skip all dialogue, get me to Oppenheimer,
Bro, same. I want to get to that movie so bad. I hope it's not a stinker. It's not gonna be.
Give me to Barbie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
We got good stuff coming up.
Tom Cruise movie, whatever. It's fine. We could stop.
Tom Cruise movie.
That's
I like that title. Oh man. Yeah, this was meh.
Yeah. All right.
That
feels good.
Feels good.
No fells. Feels good.
Thank you so much for listening to Straight Dude Date Night. We do hope you enjoy. As always, we have our social medias, and you can follow us on Instagram and TikTok and subscribe to us on YouTube. We are planning on doing video episodes of this podcast at some point.
Surprise.
We're not sure when, but like that's a hope. So
if that's what you guys would be into,
subscribe to us on YouTube in preparation for that. And
if you hate that idea, let us know.
Yeah.
But you'll be into it.
I promise. We're also, you can follow us on Spotify. You can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. All of it helps. And tell a friend about the show. Other than that, thank you so much for listening. Ricky?
David?
I'm glad we don't live in the Stone Age. That's all I have to say.
Dude.
That's what this movie made me think of.
The 80s, man. What a time to be alive, right?
Horrible time. Horrible time. Best time to be alive right now.
Right now, dude. Nah, dude. Leave the 80s alone, David. Protect the 80s. I'm gonna start it. It's starting the trend.
No.
Protect the 80s at all costs. It was a golden era of all of our lives.
Incorrect.
Nope.
Fake news.
70s, whack. 60s,
wrong.
Okay. 80s, awesome.
Incorrect.
90s, 2000s, 10s, 20s, definitely, 80s though, David. That was the last good year.
Incorrect.
All of the 80.
Thank you so much for listening. We do hope you enjoy. Have a great day and have a great week. Bye-bye.
Bye.